I'll be dead and you'll still be sorrowing your lovey-dovey and your mummy magnificent. You idiot.
Wait a minute. Are we trading again?
The morning stream. One way or the other, this war ends tonight.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to TMS. It is the Monday morning version of the morning stream. It is Monday, April 14th, in fact, and it is the year 2025. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett.
All of these things are true, and more things.
Confirmable truth.
That's correct.
If any of you at home had any question about whether we're not slinging hot truth here on the show.
That's right. Hot truth delivered to you. Screw the media. We're here with the real facts about what's going on in the USA.
That's right. And you found the right place, I guess, or something.
That's right. And those of you who are watching this show on video, and remember me talking last week about buying the gaudiest Marvel themed hockey jersey or lacrosse jersey ever, I'm a man of my word. I'm wearing it today.
Look at that thing.
Here, right here.
Should have worn my Horde one, just so we had hockey jersey theme today.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think about it. It's the only hockey jersey I have, and that's kind of dumb. I like hockey. I should have more hockey things. I've been a fan. I mean, we have a team now. You know?
Yeah.
They're not very good, and we're also changing the name soon, so it'd be dumb to spend money on the Utah Hockey Club.
I don't know, because I think that when the name changes, that Utah Hockey Club apparel is going to be in high demand. Like it's going to be, maybe not necessarily collector's item, because there's so many things right now that is sold and touted as this is going to be rare someday, and number one issue for brand new DC team. Yeah, it's not, because everybody buys it.
Yeah, it's never. The speculation rarely matches the end result. However,
exactly,
I did notice at a Costco they had a whole bunch of Utah Hockey Club stuff really cheap.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Which tells me that they're ready to do the rollover, and so now might be the time to do it.
Yeah. If you can get that stuff at a good price, then I would do it.
$12 bucks for a jersey or something like that. They're cheap. So I might do that.
Yeah.
Maybe today.
Maybe.
Well, anyway, we got a lot of stuff to do. It's a Monday. That means the brand new week ahead of you folks. Hope you're enjoying things. We're literally a couple of weeks from TMS Vegas. Lots going on there. More on that in a second. Before we do, though, man, all right. I'm used to this. If you pull up to a Taco Bell at like 2 a.m., you expect to see...
For fourth meal?
Yeah, for my fourth meal, like a damn hobbit. You expect some like people got the munchies because they're all loaded up on weed. You kind of expect that.
Of course, yes.
That's the place they go. I didn't expect it at a Panera Bread. All right. So I go to the Panera Bread yesterday. I went in there just to get a sandwich, and Kim got a drink, and I got a soup or something with the sandwich, and we had one of them coupon deals, and big fan of the Panera now that we got the club and everything, and
Yep.
So we go in there, and the guy I'm behind in line waiting for my stuff, I have never smelled a more overwhelming level of like the dankest, like swampiest weed.
It's just some skunk weed, basically, is what.
Real bad, dude. Like he'd been all night in it. He looked really rough. He had the baggy eyes and all that. And maybe he's going through. Maybe this is the worst time of his life. I don't even freaking know. I don't want to speculate. Mm-hmm. All I know is I was getting some serious secondhand whiff of this dude.
It's funny.
It did not affect my. I didn't get high or anything because he's not smoking it.
Hotboxing on his lunch break.
Yeah. But it was weird. It's just a weird thing to see on a Sunday at like, I don't know, we were there at like 11:30 or something in the morning. Just a weird thing to see. And we're in a city and state where it's not legal. So I don't know, not that you can arrest a guy because he stinks, but it's just unusual. I expect this sort of thing, like I say, at 2 a.m. in Las Vegas or LA or, somewhere legal, but Colorado maybe even.
Utah. Yeah, Colorado for sure. Like it's to the point now where you just kind of, if you're going to be outdoors, not even like I'm going to a crowd event, a parade, a concert, a outdoor show or something like that, you definitely expect it there.
Sure.
But you kind of even expect it just walking down the street in like a little shopping area kind of thing.
Yeah. weird.
But Utah, I would not expect it at all.
Yeah, Claire says medicinal is legal here. She's right, but there's no way that guy. He was overdosing on his medicinal then, because my gosh,
Yeah, right.
there's just no way. It was so strong, and the medicinal here comes in smokable formats, so it's not like that's unheard of. But this much, I mean, it was. I'm trying to think of a good comparison. I think the last time I felt this wave of it hit me was in Anaheim for like the last BlizzCon I was at. And it was like the second year that it was public legal or whatever, and it was so overwhelmingly strong. Like at night when we were going over to that bar for I can't remember the name of the thing. Oh, the House of Blues for the community member thing. Anyway, it was really, really strong there. That was like this, but one person emanating it, and the entire Panera was like, "Oh my gosh, did they even make food here? Because all I smell is weed." It was so bad. So anyway, it is what it is.
That's good. Well, enjoy your new grass bagel, and hope your
my weed bagel,
your Cheeto sandwich was delicious.
Yep. Changing things up down there at the Panera. It felt like if I used the little console you use to order your stuff ahead of time if you want to do it that way, I felt like if I'd used it after that guy, I could lick it and I would have had a
just a contact high.
Yeah.
Well, you would have gotten something. I don't know if it would have been a contact high, but you would have walked away with a little something extra somewhere.
Yeah, and I don't want that right now. I got Vegas coming up. I don't want to get sick.
E. coli or whatnot. I know, man. Like you said, man. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from the actual start.
Yep.
Right now, 2 weeks from today, Travis and Tom and Bobby are going to be getting ready for their live podcasting stuff. No, they're probably still going to be sleeping or maybe getting breakfast, getting a pink box donut, getting ready for their deal.
Yeah, I mean,
I will be,
as they should,
getting ready. I'll be getting ready to put the last two Frog Pants All Stars through their Taskville. Sorry, you always pronounce it that way. You always have a weird way of Taskville.
Yeah, strange how that keeps happening. Very odd.
Yeah.
This is us right here. Look at the 2 weeks lady.
That's us. That's us right there. Yeah, exactly.
2 weeks. Well, that'll give you a freaking seizure. Turn that off. Jeez Louises.
That is Hypnotoad level.
It's too much.
Action.
Too much.
By the way, if you, since we're bringing it up, talking about TMS Vegas, if you are not yet part of a team for Swingers Mini Golf, but you're on the left side as far as like a straggler, go ahead and if you're okay being a captain, all you have to do as a captain is book the reservation for your 4-person team. Everybody's agreed that as soon as you're booked, they will Venmo the money to whoever, but move yourself over to the right side, create a team. We'll pull 3 more people over, or 2 more people, however many we need to fill out the teams. And but let's make sure we get all that squared away with the 6:30, 7 o'clock, and 7:30 mini golf folks.
Yeah, get in there, swingers. Let's get that done.
Yeah.
Okay, quick note here about T-Mobile home internet. It's actually a phone call, and Jason R has a question.
Oh, interesting.
And I think I can answer it, so let's give it a shot.
Hey, Scott and Brian, this is Jason R calling again. I will enjoy hearing you discuss about what the R stands for again. Just curious if you guys actually ever tried that home internet from T-Mobile. When I looked into it, the price was great and everything, but they were saying it was only 100 megabits per second and you couldn't get any faster speeds. So I'm just curious if you tried it, if it's any good. I don't know how anybody gets anything done with 100 megabits per second, but just was looking for some firsthand experience. All right, love the show, though.
All right, Jason R. Today you are Jason Robards, famed actor.
Yeah, perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Jason Robards, dad or grandpa or judge in so many '80s films that we know and love.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, he was in a Corey's movie, one of the Corey's movies.
Yeah, he was. License to Drive? I think he was the.
Yeah. Was it the judge in that?
Judge. All I can do is picture Jason Robard in like a judge's robe and sitting there with a gavel.
Yep.
Yeah, dream a little dream. Sean Bloom confirms. Okay.
Yeah.
Or did I say License to Drive? I said License to Drive. Sorry, Dream a Little.
Oh, Dream a Little Dream. Yeah, and he was the one. He's in what's the movie we like with Tom Cruise? The what's his name? Magnolia. He's the one dying. He's dying in
right.
that
He's
bed.
the one dying. Yeah, that everybody like. He's Tom Cruise and Julianne Moore's dad.
Yep,
right.
Yep. Douchebag lawyer guy, chief partner in the movie Philadelphia, and the other one I always remember him in is The Day After Tomorrow. He was the one in the car when the bombs hit, and then on the EMP hit, and all the cars stopped. I always remember that.
I wasn't allowed to watch that when it aired.
Maybe that explains.
It scared my grandmother.
It's scary as shit. That thing's still scary. It's scary.
And it gets scarier the closer our little clock hands get to midnight.
Yeah,
it does feel like we're damn close.
You guys got to understand, this thing was like height of the Cold War, and
86, 85,
something like that, and it was a big TV miniseries event. And it's still to this day. I've seen it parts of it kind of recently, and it's kind of weird how well it holds up in the freaky department, like in the kind of like, ooh, this is scary. It really affected there's a whole generation of people that got like nailed by this thing, by that show.
Yeah, like it totally. Yeah. Oh, Steve Guttenberg, Joe Beth Williams. Are you sure this isn't The Big Chill that I'm looking at
sure
here?
Sounds like it. I think it had a weird cast of like comedians and
A.B. Madigan.
Yeah.
I wonder. 126 minutes. This thing came in 1983. Came with so many warnings about don't let your children watch this. It's very scary. Don't there's a lot of parental guidance needs to be used here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they were always giving us warnings back then.
Yeah, but I imagine it's got to be streaming somewhere. Does ABC has a streaming service? I wonder if
I think ABC is their or no, is that CBS? Who has Paramount? Is CBS? Or?
That's CBS's Paramount. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me tell you a tradition that continues to this day. I can't get ABC and CBS correct. They I realize they're similar. ABC, CBS.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like they're reverses of each other.
Terrestrial.
And I just you could lie to me and say ABC is doing this and CBS is doing this, and actually have it be the opposite, and I just believe you because I don't know. I can't do it. NBC, I get it. It's a separate thing. There's an N in there. It really separates itself. But which one is the eyeball? I don't remember. Right, I think CBS, ABC. I don't know.
Currently not streaming, available for rent on Amazon, but
oh my gosh, who would rent that shit?
Right, exactly. Pay your $3.99 to watch this piece of garbage. But that whole ABC, NBC, CBS thing about, God, it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago at this point, where all of them changed whatever local channel they were. We had 4, 7, and 9, and for the longest time, Channel 4 was NBC, Channel 7 was CBS, Channel 9 was ABC out here.
Yeah.
And then 20 years ago, there was a big switcheroo, and they all changed. Basically, everyone shifted to the left. So I think NBC became Channel 9, CBS became Channel 4, and ABC became 7. And we don't care about terrestrial numbers anymore. Obviously, it's like I go to Hulu TV, I hit whatever thing I want, I watch whatever I want. But for that time between when they changed it and when I went fully to streaming, it was still freaking confusing to me to remember what channel was which.
Yeah. No, I don't like it when they did that to us at one point as well, and I don't remember who went where. It was actually the two, CBS, ABC. This is probably part of the problem. Those two switched because they used to be. Yeah. It was always 2, 4, and 5 for us, and then 2 and 4 swapped at some point, and I lost all track of who the hell they were.
I know.
But NBC has always stayed on 4, 5.
That's good. So the other two flip flopped around it.
Yeah, and I don't know why they got to stay there. They had their Eyewitness News at Channel 5 Eyewitness. I don't remember. They had a whole like slogan thing. That maybe that's why I got stayed there, but. Yeah, NBC. Yeah. Growing up, NBC's all that mattered anyway. Everybody else kind of.
Yeah, it really is. Exactly. Must see TV.
Yeah.
They were right. That was accurately named programming.
They were kind of killing it.
Your Friends, your Frasier, your Cheers, your then your ancillary Caroline in the City and Just Shoot Me and all that stuff that kind of floated around it.
Brainbow Bright says, what was PBS? Ours was Channel 7.
Ours
PBS.
was 6 PBS.
Yeah, I think it depends. Just all depends on local market where you land on the channels.
Yeah.
And nowadays, what even is a channel?
Exactly. What is even picking up stuff on a TV antenna?
Yeah.
With a strip of tinfoil stuck on the very end of it to help.
Exactly. But now that I've gone off on the Jason Robards thing, I should probably answer his question about T-Mobile.
Answer the T-Mobile. Answer the fucking question.
The effing question. So here's the deal, Jason R. We have been very happy with it. We've had it now for, we're probably pushing 5 months of it or something. Mm-hmm. Got it right before the end of the year. And it has been great. We do get way more than 100 megabits per second. We get something closer to 800, 900, something like that. Pushing a gigabyte. The uploads are slower. I want to say that's somewhere in the 60 to 80 range. But that was to be expected. That's just that kind of service. It's been reliable. I think that they tell you different depending on where you're located, though, because wherever it's all pulling off 5G towers. Basically, it is a 5G collector device. And if you've got nearby 5G tower access, especially multiples of them, it's going to triangulate and give you better speed. If you aren't, and they'll tell you this because you're in a certain zip code or something, they'll tell you how much lower it would be. It sounds like you're maybe in a bad coverage area or an area that's just not going to give you as much bandwidth. So that part is a bummer because it all depends on where you're at. But if you can find a place if you live in a pocket where you can get really good 5G coverage, it's been great. It's a lot like what does Verizon do? I forgot the name of their thing.
Xfinity?
No, Xfinity is like their cable, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I thought it's also their internet service, is it not?
No, that's Comcast, Universal Comcast.
Oh, right. That's right. Yes.
I can't remember the name of it. Wi-Fi? Is it? Whatever it is. Anyway, there's a name for it. And then AT&T has a version of this. They all kind of have a thing with this, and it's all about like connecting to 5G towers. So your results are going to vary, but we've been very happy with it, and it is way cheaper. FiOS, that's it. Thank you, Monica.
FiOS, yeah, okay. I remember hearing about FiOS.
Boy, you'd think you'd want, if you're going to come up with a short word that everyone remembers, you ought to come up with one that everyone remembers.
Exactly, FiOS.
FiOS. That sounds like something I got to flash on my motherboard. That's some bullshit.
There's a FiOS firmware upgrade that you got to download. Great.
Yeah, flash your FiOS.
Heck, do I do that again? Yeah.
But anyways, point is, it's great if you can get the right coverage. If you can't, I totally get it. But the price is so much. I had Xfinity before, Comcast before, and I freaking hated it. It was so unreliable. This thing, no issues. I've had to restart it once, cool. I think. And it was because of probably a brownout or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of calls, we got a call from Dr. Tolbert. Yeah. He wanted to chime in on emotional support animals because we called him ours, I believe, right? Did we say, we said something?
We did.
Medical support.
He's our emotional support doctor or something like that. Oh, we were talking about somebody wanted a snake as emotional support cobra or something. There was something weird
somebody wanted to have, or they got in trouble for having, or didn't actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it was a bunch of tigers. That's what it was.
Oh, tigers. That's right. Yes, emotional support tigers.
Yeah. So, all right.
Like a toiga.
Let's play this and see what happens.
Good morning, gents. Your friendly neighborhood family doc swinging by to answer your somewhat unintentional page from 10 April. Scott, you asked if there was anyone like Dr. Tolbert for emotional support animals who could answer questions. It just so happens that I, Dr. Tolbert, can answer questions about emotional support animals because I write letters for patients all the time who are trying to get their animal qualified to be an emotional support animal. There are several different state and local laws that govern the use of emotional support animals, but there's no one single federal legislation. Patients can get any kind of animal qualified, from a spider to a snake to a dog to a cat to a lizard, and it mostly involves getting a certification that they can present for places like apartments or other rentals or for airlines, and it allows them to bring their pets and their emotional support animals into a place that they normally wouldn't be allowed to enter. There is no single governing law, and so it can vary from place to place. So anyone who's interested in getting an emotional support animal should make sure that they know those regulations and what they are allowed and not allowed to do. But in general, most primary care physicians will write letters to help patients get their animals qualified. Hope that helps. And if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to page me, even if it's unintentional.
So I can get an emotional support spider. I could do that.
You can, totally. Yeah.
What a weird ass idea that is. I mean,
What a croc. And you could also get an emotional support croc.
Yeah, you get a croc. You can get it sounds like anything.
Anything, yeah.
Now, I guess the story was less about whether the guy. The story was more that he didn't actually go through the trouble to do that part.
Channels to have it licensed as a right.
Yeah,
exactly.
and if you live in a state or you live in a province or an area of the world where wild tigers are not allowed at all, well, you're never going to get it registered as an emotional support animal. They're already illegal to have. So that guy was screwed either way, I think. Unless he was from Missouri, because then they're weird over there. But I don't know, man.
Right.
That's nuts to me. That's nuts. A spider. Imagine I got a little spider over here. Like, let's pretend this little Diablo is a spider. What do I do? He sits over here in a cage or in a little glass thing, and I'm like working away with Brian and going, oh, I'm having one of those days.
A little stressed.
It's like, hold on a second. Hey, how you doing over here, spider? Give me
you
some.
Just look. Basically, all you can do is you can't really pet it. You can't really pet a spider. Maybe a tarantula you could, but
yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, Tim in the chat says, I thought Jim Raynor, the female dog, was my emotional support animal. I mean, she is just naturally. You don't have to have her license to be that.
Not licensed as such, but does the job without the licensing.
Yeah, and I assume she'd have to have some very special training to get any kind of licensing. And I can tell you right now, from the bottom of my heart, she is ill prepared for any of that. She could never do it.
Yeah. Whose little plastic Diablo is cuter?
Let's see. Yours for sure. This thing's more like Diablo 2. He's evil. Yours is cute. I have that guy too somewhere. I don't know where he is.
Yeah, came in our swag bags. I guess he's supposed to hang out upside down like that.
I'll be honest, I don't know where this is. Diablo 2 style Diablo, and I don't know where I got this. It's just completely showed up one day, like the devil himself. Like the true primeval.
In the world, it didn't exist.
Yes, his greatest trick, really. All right. Couple more things. Quick PSA. Good news, everybody. Good news. The swag-only version of the TMS 2025 Vegas trip is up. So if you can't come, but you want the goodies, as it says right here on this page, you can do that. You can get all the stuff included in a obviously a much lower price because it doesn't cover the trip ticket. So for as low as $24.99, you can get all these things mailed to you directly in a little cute box that comes with everything in there. And again, it's the double-sided challenge coin. Exactly. We got the Frog Pants shot glass. We got stickers. We got Mario becoming one of those Last of Us mushroom head guys. We got Carter's got a monster trap thing for a print. I got what's his name getting licked? Kirby getting licked.
Yep.
Kirby ice cream. And then, of course, our awesome drink coaster, which will also feature this year's art. And then this main thing here is a sticker. Anyway, if you wanted the swag bag and you've been just sitting around going, well, I can't come, but where's the damn swag? It's up. It's at frogpants.shop. You can go there right now. Click it. The link that's on the TMS.Vegas will also take you to the same page. Just go out to the main menu and choose the swag only pack. It is there. There are limited quantities. So if you want yours, now would be the time to grab them. And all the info's there. So go check it out. That again, frogpants.com frogpants.shop or frogpants.com has a shop link. Wherever you get there, just get there. All right. I'm not picky.
Very cool. Yeah, no, go grab them. Buy them all. Get them all purchased.
That's right. What else is going on? Oh, we have news on the tourney.
We do, yeah. We finally filled those last 2 spots, and so Chuck sent me the final setup brackets for the TMS Vegas tournament, and oddly enough, the guy we just heard from, Dr. Tolbert, is going against you in the first round.
Oh, shit. That's not going to be good. He's going to use some trick like put propanol on the stick or something, make me go to sleep.
Exactly. He's going to cover the something numbing agent for the buttons or something. So as soon as you start touching them, you're lose control of your controls.
Great. Control loss.
Let's see. There's some other fun ones. Looks like Greg for Walkman is going against Mara. Bobby's co-host in the first round. Free Monster and Leonimas. Look at that. Dr. Nikki versus Claire in the first round.
Oh, 2 of my favorite ladies. who could not be more different personality-wise. I'm excited to see this little battle.
I'm against Rummy Mike in the first round. I know I've met Rummy Mike, but I can't remember visually. Let's see.
He's always drinking
Wendy
rum.
Versus,
Just lots of rum.
Steve in New Hampshire.
Oh, Wendy and Steve. Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Wendy's not very good. You'd think she grew up with arcade machines. She did. She didn't play like I did. She's not that great. So you probably got a pretty good chance, Steve. You'll do. This is
another good matchup. Leslie. I'm sorry, not Leslie. The Jen versus Stefanina Pets.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I don't know who I would pick in that.
Jeep Grills versus Stefanina Pets. So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some good lineups here, and you and I potentially, if we were to go up against each other, the earliest it could happen would be, looks like, not until 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th round. Oh, not till the finals. Like, you and I are on opposite sides of the bracket. So,
oh shit.
So if you and I are playing against each other, no more Tron advantages that you can complain about for ad nauseum. Tron beat me.
I'm bringing some power cable cutters with me just in case. Because Tron is not my game, and Brian is very good at it. So I'm. Those trailers for Ares have you excited? I'm pretty excited about the new.
Yes.
Movie.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And and 9-inch nails, not Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, but 9-inch nails doing the soundtrack. So
essentially the same guys, but it's under that moniker, which means it should mean something to people. It should mean something.
Harder edge.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited because here's the thing. I know everyone loves to hate on what's his name, Jared Leto. I know people like to do that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But I think it's misplaced. Sure, he's in some stinkers, and sure, he's a little weird in real life. But I think
you say it's his little wackadoo real life stuff that I think warrants the
and the fact that he's like pushing 60 and looks 24, like there's some weirdness there. However, that guy I think is a good actor, and given the right parts, he's really amazing. And I loved him in Blade Runner 2049. I have no problem waiting to see how this goes. I'm not so cynical that I think everything from here on out is going to be like freaking. What was the vampire shit? The what was it called?
Morbius.
Morbius. It's not going to be Morbius forever. All right.
Oh gosh, no. We can forget. If we have not already forgotten about Morbius, we can forget about Morbius.
Yeah. Put Morbius behind us. Really, that's what we want to do.
Please put Morbius in the corner.
Let us now play a game. All right.
Okay.
Tradition is that Mondays we bring Brian Dunaway in here, and we let him have at it. If I can find him here. Here we go. Very excited about that. He's had a whirlwind weekend. Lots of traveling around, driving 12 hours one direction, 10 the other. He's probably tired, a little bit pooped. But we're here for him. We're here to bring him back into the fold, as it were. There he is. Oh, that music means Brian Dunaway is back from his whirlwind driving tour. Hello, Brian.
Oh, hi, Scott and Brian. I'm so glad to be out of the car.
Yeah, sure.
We drove all the way up to Ohio, watched our indoor percussion band make it to semifinals. That was amazing. They did great. And then we had to come home through the mountains again. And on the way through, I was like, hey, we should pee before we get to this long stretch of single lane highway. Sure. Mm-hmm. So let's take the last exit on the right before we do that. Cool. Oh, look, there's a Buc-ee's. We haven't been to one of those in a while.
Clean
seen
bathrooms
the
right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly what I thought. Clean bathrooms.
Oh, no.
Guess what? I took the exit 1 hour later when we finally got back on the road because apparently the one in Seaverville just opened up and it's the world's largest Buc-ee's.
Oh,
and I'm like, well, great.
Oh.
So, man. Okay, so
they're still like packed to the gills. Yeah.
Dude, there was like thousands of people there. I mean, I've seen less crowds at Disney World when I've been down there. It was insane. There were like 2 bathroom attendants in there. So many bathroom attendants, they had places to gather for the bathroom attendants. I'm like, okay, this is too much. This is too much.
Yeah.
So when you say attendants, they're just cleaning? Are they handing you towels, or what's that like at a Buc-ee's?
They were. I don't know. They wouldn't let me in. There was a big group of them. They were in a circle. I was like, "What are you guys doing? What do you see? What you got? What you doing over there?" It's like
more like
they were like
bathroom defendants than attendants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah,
summoning. They were summoning the latest batch of those weird nuggets they sell.
Yeah.
Bathroom preventants is what they were.
Sure.
Yeah.
I knew we were in trouble when we walked in, and there were shopping carts. I'm like, "Oh shit!
Yeah.
Shopping carts. People are shopping in here. Fine." So to sum it up, I made a huge mistake trying to pull over and do a quick pee. I looked right into the mouth of capitalism, and there was a big giant beaver in there.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. Yeah.
and the beaver stared back at you.
And it stared back at me and, "How's it going? You want some beaver nuggets?" "No, thanks, sir."
Yeah, all the beaver
good.
nuggets you can eat at those places.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this though, that their barbecue sandwiches are the bomb.
They got a big old
bomb.
They got a big old griddle in the middle, and they got like 6 people in there mixing up meats.
Yelling every barbecue done or whatever they're yelling whenever a new batch is ready. Yeah,
They've definitely cornered a weird ass market with that thing. It's insane.
Nothing wrong with Buc-ee's, just not the place you want to accidentally find yourself when it's like, "Oh, I gotta pee."
Opening
I just
weekend
walked
of a brand
into a
new
tourist attraction.
Yeah. Well, you go across the street, go to the Exxon over there or whatever. Should do that.
Right. That would have been better.
It would have been a lot better. Well, it's good to have you here. We're going to play this here game. We're going to have some fun, win some prizes, all that stuff. But Brian Ibbett here has to explain these damned rules. Brian, how's it work?
That's right. Oh, there's so many. Welcome to the Morning Half-Asses, a trivia game where I'm actually going to be giving the two of you the answers. I'm going to give Scott and Brian a category and 6 possible answers, 3 of which are correct, and 3, like the people not letting anybody get into the Buc-ee's bathrooms, are incorrect. Depending on how confident they feel with the category, they can provide 1, 2, or 3 guesses, but if any of those guesses are wrong, you get 0 points for that round. 1 correct gets you a point. 2 correct gets you 3 points, and 3 correct gets you 5 points. We're going to add up all those points after 3 rounds, and whichever one of you comes out on top is going to win a prize for their contestant. Here are the contestants that are members of our Tadpool that aren't able to be here live. Scott, you're playing for Dwayne Coyle in Illinois.
Oh, I like
Baby.
Dwayne. He's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bro Baby's awesome.
I'll do my
Go
best.
check out his book. Don't know if it's commercially available yet. A Mook for All Seasons. Go look for that wherever your books are sold. Brian, you're playing for Siddhartha in Brazil.
Ooh, Brazil.
Nice. And that's where you'll get my area done.
That's right. Where is that your Brazilian? Is that where that's done?
Yeah.
His special
Get that
zone.
done here.
I like to keep it legit. No, sir.
You don't have to go to Brazil to get
I've
your
been doing it
Brazilian.
wrong.
Yeah.
Well, they did have some in Buc-ee's, but I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, don't do that. They're good at
Brazilians.
Yeah,
It
they'll
sounded
mix you. It's the same guys making those awesome barbecue sandwiches are the same guys that give you Brazilians. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Come over here and sit down, sir.
Yeah.
And they don't wash their hands in between either of those things. So you're going to get barbecue
Buc-ee's
sauce in your
Brazilian.
unit, and you're going to get pubes in your brisket sandwich. No, I'm kidding. Please sponsor TMS, Buc-ee's. Anyway, let's get to your questions here. We're going to start off with number 1, as we always do. Countries where women did not have the right to vote in 1950. So obviously this is, things that people are thinking about right now with maiden names and married names and passports being looked at for when you get to vote in November. But let's look at the countries where women did not have the right to vote in 1950. Your choices are Iran, Spain, Canada, Greece, Thailand, Switzerland.
Okay.
3 of these are places that women did not.
I'm going to
have
offend
the right
somebody
to
if
vote.
I say the wrong thing.
I know,
Jeez.
right? I know.
Well, you'll
see.
lose your right to vote is the problem.
Yeah, that's right. What, are you kidding me, Brian? Don't you know anything about Thailand's history? I'm like, no.
No.
Some stupid American trying to pee at Buc-ee's. What do you want from me?
I'm just a dumb American trying to take a piss at Buc-ee's.
Trying to take a freaking piss, man.
That's awesome.
All right, Scott has locked in with his answers. Brian
All right,
working
I'm
on
going with
his.
those.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, you guys each chose 2, and you overlapped on Thailand.
Oh.
Thailand, women got the right to vote in Thailand in 1932. Yeah, it just means you automatically get these wrong. Scott did get Iran correct. Iran, women didn't get the right to vote until 1963. Greece, not until 1952, and Switzerland, like super progressive Switzerland, not till 1971.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's so much progressive as they are. Like, they don't want to pick sides usually, right? That's the
They
deal.
don't want to pick sides. Neutral, I guess. Progressive versus neutral, but
Yeah, it is a little weird. I would have never.
Summits there and climate conferences there and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would have never.
Iran.
Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I thought Iran was like progressive for a minute, and then they fell back, and I couldn't remember. And I was like,
no, I'm not sure they even.
That was the only one that I was sure of when I did this game. Before
well, that's what I thought too, but it felt like bait, just like the big brown beaver.
It felt like bait.
Bucky's.
Here's my question though: is can I, if I'm a lady in Iran now, Iran, whatever it is, can I vote now, or is it still not voting in Iran? Does anyone know?
Iran.
Yes, no. Iran women got the right to vote in 1963. So.
Oh, okay.
See?
That surprises me.
Yes.
I figured they were still stuck in the Dark Ages, but that's all I.
Yep.
All right.
Apparently not. Wow. Okay. So apparently a lot of heat against Switzerland in the chat. I guess we were mistaken to think that there was anything good about Switzerland. Bombi and Claire both have plenty to say about Switzerland. Apparently, so
we don't know anything about Switzerland here in the U.S. Come on, we don't know nothing.
Apparently not. Other than that's where 5 of my bank accounts are. Let's get to question number 2. And question number 2 is all about history.
Oh.
And Lin-Manuel Miranda. Which of these are founding fathers who appear in Hamilton? You know, whether you see it live or watch it on Disney Plus.
I didn't
founding
watch
fathers
it.
do make
Am I
an
a bad
appearance
person?
in Hamilton. Yeah, you are.
I'm so done with presidents.
Yeah, you don't like any of them. I don't like any of these.
I don't like none of them.
They're all bad. All right. Well, I think.
All right, you both have locked in. And you guys locked in on 5 different ones. All
really?
John Adams basically did not get picked by either of you. Boy, a lot of John Adams hate too. Let's see which ones are right
great.
though. Scott, you went straight down the right side. Brian, you went with the bottom on the left. Hancock and Franklin. Scott got it all right. Jefferson, Madison, Washington. All 3 of them appear.
Have you seen Hamilton?
Yeah, and I saw the stage or the Disney stream of the live thing, whatever that is.
Yeah,
and it's easy to remember. I think it's easier to remember once you've seen them standing there doing a part, and then it's easy to remember who you didn't see do singing or whatever.
Right.
It really helped me to have seen it. So if you hadn't seen it,
I was just thinking, what would you put in there? You know, John Hancock being all flourishy with his hand signature. I was like, maybe that's something. And then I thought Benjamin Franklin, sure, he's in there doing something on a $100 bill or something. I don't know.
Well, if you were talking about the John Adams miniseries, all of these people showed up.
That's right. The Giamatti deal.
If you've never,
John Adams only gets mentioned.
Is murdering me.
Does he get? I couldn't even remember if he got mentioned. That's interesting.
He gets mentioned. He gets honorable mention. And I want to say that.
So I guess the only 2 that weren't even near it.
Not.
Maybe Franklin. Franklin was so weird. He spent most of his time in France in a tub or whatever the hell.
Right.
I was trying to think what might rhyme well with Hancock and Franklin. I was trying to think of rhymes as well.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing that Jefferson, Madison, Washington all rhyme with each other. So you've got 3 built-in names that all rhyme.
I should have thought of that.
Right. All right. Well, we're going into the last question here. And Brian, you need 5. You need to shoot for the moon to even tie Scott. And that's if Scott doesn't get anything correct. So
Scott's going to blow it, so no problem.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's get to our last question here. Music. Oh, I love this. This is a great question. Which of these 6 songs, whoops, why isn't it switching over? There we go. Which of these 6 songs contain the word mother in their lyrics? Your choices are Mama by Genesis, Stayin' Alive by the Bee Gees, Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, Julia by the Beatles, Happy by Pharrell Williams, and Theme from Shaft by Isaac Hayes. 3 of these contain the word mother in the lyrics. 3 of them do not.
Oh my gosh.
What about Mama? Does Mama count? Mama.
Mama does not. Mama is not the word mother. And clearly everything you need is on the card.
Staying alive, staying alive. My mom says stay alive. I have no idea. Well, wow, this is where I could really blow it. But I'm ahead enough. I probably don't need to do more than one. So I'm going to say that one's a father, not a mother. I don't know. I wish this was Pink Floyd and
So no Danzig.
You were hoping for Danzig.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Scott locked in with 1. Brian Dunaway locked in
good
with
job, Scott.
3.
Smart.
It is a smart move because obviously
I had to.
Yeah. Now let's look at your choices here. Brian, you chose
right.
Yeah, all right, let's start with that one. Let's start with Theme from Shaft because you obviously know that one. Some people say that Shaft is a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Oh, mother.
Yeah. Easy one.
Shit.
Easy one. Yeah.
That's an easy one. That one you got correct.
Jerk.
Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive. Staying alive. Yep.
Yeah, I got those. I knew those for sure. I wasn't sure about the Billie Jean thing.
Sure.
Feels right.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at these two. Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. Scott chose Julia by the Beatles, which is a song that John Lennon wrote about his mother, Julia.
Well, there you go.
However, he did not include the word mother, even though it's a song about his mother. Billie Jean does contain the word mother. We have ourselves a tie game.
Are you kidding me, dude? How are we tied at 5? How is this possible?
Because I know about my mother songs, and you know apparently about Hamilton. So there you go.
Right.
Okay. I'm surprised Billie Jean. Awesome. I thought Billie Jean was a dad reference. I completely screwed that up.
No,
Claire, no. Billie Jean is not your mother. Is not the lyric.
Not the mother. Yeah.
Not Billie Jean is not my lover. Not my mother.
Billie Jean.
The lyric is. Let's find it here. The lyric is.
Billie
and
Jean.
Mother always told me, be careful who you love.
There you go. She wrote Billie Jan is not your mother, which is true. Billie Jan is not our mother.
Billie Jan.
Also not.
Correct. Yes. Billie Jan is not my mother. The Legend of Billie Jean, which means we go to a tiebreaker. Scott, you get the points before Brian did, so I'm going to let you choose whether or not you give an answer, a numerical answer, or higher or lower. Which would you prefer?
I'll be the higher or lower person.
Duh.
Okay. All right. Oh God, this is great. All right.
52.
I'm going to rub my lucky horn while we do this. I'm going to rub it.
Rub your horn.
Dude, really? What?
Yep, rubbing my lucky horn.
Oh,
all right,
God.
going back to 2018. Remember 2018? Heady days, 2018.
Yep.
Not including expansions, how many board and card games were released worldwide in 2018? Around the world, board games, card games, but not expansions.
Right. So this is 2018. This is before the pandemic. I would say after the pandemic, people be like, oh, get some board games out there, dude. So this is probably just regular old run-of-the-mill year for board games.
Sure. I mean, it was probably there was still a rush going on because they were becoming more and more popular. Even before the pandemic,
right.
Board games were seeing a resurgence. So yep.
Right. All right. So I can't go to Board Game Geek, right? I'm not allowed to do that. Okay,
you
fine.
Can't, and I can't imagine that without a lot of exporting
research.
Their API, you would get an answer
ask
there.
Chat GPT is really smart. No, I'm not going to do that. All right. So how about I'm going to go. Oh, Jesus! Every time I go to Barnes and Nobles, there's like 50 new board games. So I'm going to say there were 69, dude.
69.
69.
69 is incorrect.
That's Scott.
Scott, how that is incorrect. Is the actual answer higher or lower than 69?
I am the
What's your
rhino.
horn say?
Rhino.
Which?
I'm gonna say that number should be higher. This is a little harder than I thought it was gonna be, but I'm gonna say that number is higher.
Yeah. I will tell you, it is indeed higher. 3,884 board games and card games.
I should have said 420. I was trying to think of funny numbers, and I went 69, 420. I was like, 420 sounds a little high. I was like, 69 it is.
That is insane.
You were just under 4,000 too low on that one.
Yeah.
That's way higher than I would have. If he'd have said 3,000 or 2,000 or 1,000, I would have said less. So
yeah. Just for
what about
comparison,
it said 1 million? What would you have said then?
I would have said less.
Just for comparison's sake, in 1968, 207 board and card games were released.
All Monopoly variations.
All variations of Monopoly. That means congratulations going to Scott for eking out the win here at the very end. Scott, that means Dwayne is going to get a copy of Total War Pharaoh Dynasties and Trepang 2 on Steam. I know nothing about those games, but
both are excellent. That Trepang 2 is a extraction shooter that is very, very, very good. That is not a game to sleep on. It's got its fans, but a lot of people don't know about it. It's very, very good. So yeah.
Nice. But don't worry, Siddhartha in Brazil, you are getting a copy of My Little Universe, also on Steam. All three of these games courtesy of Wesley.
Wesley. Well, that's fantastic. I love beating Dunaway, so Dunaway, kiss my butt. But also, the new day that we record Play Retro is now Mondays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, and today.
Oh, is that today?
That's today. You better hurry up and prep. We're going to do all the Hydro Thunder business, all the associated games.
We're doing,
the Thunders.
Yeah, we're doing the Thunder, the loosely connected Thunder series from Midway Games during the late 90s, early 2000s. Hydro Thunder launch title for Dreamcast. And, of course, there's Off-Road Thunder and Arctic Thunder. And you might be surprised what I thought about that last one today.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Tune in to find out.
I like them all. I think it's hard to beat Hydro as the kind of the top pick, but we'll talk about all those later. Put your quarters in now and kiss our butts. He's gone. All right.
Sure enough.
Brian, we have time for one news story. So here it is for you and your enjoyment. It's time for the news brought to you by
Daily Music Headlines, which you can subscribe to for free at dailymusicheadlines.com. There are options if you want to avoid the ads. Please do. Please avoid those ads and subscribe with whatever the thing is that gets you no ads. I don't know. Tom handles all that. But today on the news, you're going to find out about the space mission, the all-female space mission that has a musician on board, Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Doja Cat releasing information about her brand new album, and Addison Rae found an interesting way at Coachella to announce the release date of her debut album. She wrote it on her butt and then turned around and mooned the crowd. You can find out all of this by going to dailymusicheadlines.com and subscribing there.
Do you get into why Katy Perry? I don't want to spill the popcorn in the theater here, but is it
sure?
Okay. Did they pick why, or did they say why she's the pick?
They've never really said why. Like they just I don't know how they chose, because it's a lot of let me pull up the sheet again, because the other people in the deal are legit.
Yeah, they're all astronaut people, right?
There's a journalist, Lauren Sanchez, aerospace engineer Aisha Bowe, civil rights activist and Nobel Peace Prize nominee Amanda Nguyen, producer and entrepreneur Carrie Ann Flynn, and then Oprah's bestie, CBS Mornings anchor Gayle King.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So it's kind of all over the place. It's not like
it's kind of all over the place. Yeah. It's you've got Sporty Spice, Science Spice, Booby Spice, Fireworks Spice.
Sure.
I guess that is Katy Perry's both.
She left the earth. Civil
rights Spice and Aerospice Spice. Aerospice. Yeah. There we go.
And this is Bezos's deal, right? His thing.
It is Bezos.
Blue Origin or whatever. Okay. The big penis-shaped rocket.
Right.
Well, that's exciting. Good luck to them, and may Katy Perry find backup boobs while she's out there.
Oh my gosh. Jim John's like, it's a lot of horrible people, the worst people in one place. I would argue that a civil rights activist and Nobel Peace Prize nominee is not a member of the worst people to put in space.
Yeah. I mean,
say what you want about Katy Perry, pop singer, whatever.
Sure.
But I think all the other people on this list are pretty dang legit.
Last time they did it was Shatner and then I don't know who else went. I assume some billionaire friends or whatever. I don't remember anyone talking smack about that. Honestly, I think the fact that it's all women is kicking up more ire than it should. I think that's a weird thing for people to do. Anyway, let's get to what...
That's true, Jim Johns. You didn't say it was the worst people. You said it's wealthy people being bored, and somebody replied to you, I see you said it's the worst people in one place.
Oh,
gotcha.
Well, that's the chat for you.
Correction issued.
Here is Katy Perry on her trip.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like Shatner.
Exactly what she's going to say.
Weird. All right, quick story. Central Florida woman arrested after selling human bones in a curio store. Oh, shit.
No.
A Del-TONA woman. Del-TONA. It's not the same as Daytona.
Oh, is that from the video game, the Daytona game?
Yeah, Daytona, don't something go away. You know that song, don't you? It's a good one. Let's see. Do I have it here? I do. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Daytona. Let's go away. That's it. Let's go away is what they say.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah, Daytona, USA. Yes, of course.
Great game. Terrible music. Great game.
Yeah.
Anyway, Del-TONA is where this lady's from, different place. Was placed in handcuffs after an officer found human bones among her wares at an Orange City curio store, according to the police department. In an affidavit, police said they received a complaint just days before Christmas about the store dubbed Wicked Wonderland, trying to sell human bones. According to the police, the store had reportedly been advertising various human bones on its Facebook page, complete with pricing details. Here they are. Brian, if you want to know what these are going to go for, here are your bone prices. Number 1, 2 human skull fragments, $90. It's not bad. Human skull.
That's not bad. I mean, you can get a lot of fragments from one human skull, so that seems like a cash cow right there.
That's true. You get one skull, you're probably going to make a couple of grand on that skull. Human clavicle and scapula, $90 for the pair.
Wow.
Human rib, $35. You can start your own biblical human race with a human rib. You know?
That's right. That's right. It's you can spring forth a woman from that rib.
That's right. Yeah, if that story is to be believed. And then a human vertebrae, $35 also, not bad. And if you want a partial human skull, I don't know what partial means. They don't define it.
It's missing 2 fragments.
Yeah, 2 fragments. Yeah, this thing's got 8/10 of its fragments still. $600 will be what it'll cost you for a fake or for a real skull head. Anyway, it's not legal. You can't do this.
I wouldn't do it, but I guess I didn't realize if you owned bones, human bones, that you couldn't. Maybe you're not even allowed to own human bones, right? Human remains.
I don't think so. And there may be some variance on that depending on age, or obviously people do archaeological digs and then take them to museums, and those museums own them. So that's different, clearly, but I don't know how they make that distinction. You have to have some special licensing and show a bunch of work. And if a lady just shows up with a bag of bones, that's like not legal.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, maybe like a little sign, or your backyard driver's license says, nope, you can donate my bones to the curio store.
Yeah. You can have one of my ribs and 2 of my skull fragments. That's all you can take.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, that's a fun story. Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Bobby here. He's going to do a little science, and it's always good to learn. We're here to learn. Okay, everybody?
Yeah.
So be prepared for some learning. Before we do that, though, we're going to learn about a song Brian brought.
Oh, we're gonna ease you into this Monday with some sweet indie in the middle. This is rising indie folk artist Evan Honer and powerhouse vocalist Cameron Whitcomb. They're both on separate headlining tours around North America, but if you can imagine their paths intertwining, connecting, if you will, that would bring them together for this song right here, a brand new single called My Expense. They actually just met last year and quickly decided it'd be fun to make music together. And they certainly have. This is just a single, not ahead of a new album or anything, but it's Evan Honer and Cameron Whitcomb with a song called My Expense.
You give out very little sugar with your pronouncements. While I sat there watching you, I gave some thought to stealing a kiss, though you are very young and sick and unattractive to boot. But now I have a mind to give you 5 or 6 good licks with my belt.
I could use the lend of a needle and thread on a hot meal.
And we're back. Who was that one more time?
That is Evan Honer and Cameron Whitcomb with a brand new single that they joined forces on. They Voltroned together to create this song, My Expense. Go check them out today, separately on their tours.
Yeah. I guess they both can perform it, right? That's the deal.
Right. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I guess it doesn't, unless you got some big beef with like the Pink Floyd guys all have beef where they can't play some songs and.
Right.
You have to have a fight, I guess.
Obviously, Daryl Hall and John Oates, big battle over who can perform what in concert between the two of them. So
big mustachioed beef. going on between those two.
That's right.
Although I think, didn't he shave that? Didn't Oates shave his mustache?
He did years ago, and he looks so weird without it.
I don't like it.
Looks like Baba Booey without it.
Yeah, it's not a good look. Last time I saw it, it's not great.
No.
All right, Bobby time.
Yep.
I'm gonna add him to the call.
Well, I guess he's got the goatee going right now, so he's got the mustache and beard going right now.
Oh, all right. Well, that's an improvement, probably. I don't know.
Better. Yeah.
Let's do some science, y'all.
Science!
Bob is hungry, and the soup looks good.
It sure does. Bobby Frankenberger, all the way from South Carolina, his own self. That's two of them today that we've had on the show, him and Dunaway. Joins us now for a little science talk. Bobby, welcome back to the program. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are the two of y'all?
Well, you know,
good as well.
yeah, pretty good. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing you in person soon. That'll be fun.
Watching you record a podcast live 2 weeks from today.
Yeah,
I'll show you. I know. Right. I'll show you how it's done. Recording a podcast.
Oh, good.
I know you guys have never done it before.
Oh my gosh!
You bring a soundboard and show us how one of those worked too. Or I think it was the line from Dvorak.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll show you how to operate a soundboard.
Yeah, he still I don't think knows, so he needs to come to us. Dvorak, you've been summoned. But no, that's great. I'm excited to hear you and Tom and everybody do their thing. You know, it's always us up here yapping on the TMS mic, but to hear you guys do it at a TMS event is even cooler. So I'm looking forward to it.
Playing some mini golf 2 weeks from today as well, and getting all that going should be fun.
That's going to be fantastic.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's good to have you here, though. Let's talk about some science before it all falls apart.
Yeah, before everything falls apart. Sure. I think we're in the middle of that happening, but you know, who knows?
Yeah.
You guys hear about the dire wolves?
Oh yeah.
No. You mentioned that, asking me about it, but I have not heard anything about this story.
I'm surprised because it's been all over the news. If you
Westeros, okay, so if I did, maybe it'd be more relevant to me.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you paid attention to science news, you definitely have heard it before. But I'm surprised because it's been everywhere I look. I've been hearing about the dire wolves. Let me explain what I'm talking about, since obviously, Brian, you said you hadn't heard it.
Yeah, please.
This company, Colossal Biosciences, which you may recognize that name because they're the ones that keep talking about how they're going to try and bring back the woolly mammoth. And if you heard, do you remember hearing about the woolly mice?
Yes, we talked about it here.
On the show.
Yeah, I think we did a
brief
story on that here.
Yeah, that was Colossal Biosciences as well. They were doing sort of a proof of concept, trying to take the genes that apparently were supposedly make the woolliness on a woolly mammoth, and they put that into some mice to see what would happen.
Yeah.
See if they could get the mice to, and they were very cute mice. Very cute.
Oh, they're always cute. Furry or not, bald mice with half their heads missing, whatever. 2 eyes, 3 eyes, 4 eyes. We don't care. We like mice. They're cute.
We don't care. We're fine with mice.
Yeah.
So Colossal Biosciences. I don't know if that was a question about whether or not you guys like mice, but I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah, sure.
I'm using one right now.
But they genetically engineered some gray wolf DNA to according to them, and that's what the discussion is going to be about. I think mostly, if I can guess what them will be today, is allegedly they de-extincted the dire wolf. Now, did they or didn't they? That's a discussion we can have, but I want to get.
My understanding. Okay, so this is how I received this news. It came in a giant blast one day of they revived the long extinct dire wolf. That was the story.
They definitely didn't revive it because it was not a dead animal.
Well, brought it back via kind of Jurassic Park styles. What it was the initial blast, and then the follow up blast was, don't believe what you read. They just use some aspects of the DNA and put it in with a current breed of wolf, of wolf, and they're calling them dire wolves, but really they're not. They're just now sharing some of their DNA, right?
I think the discussion to be had is a little bit more nuanced than that. But you're right, and that's the typical cycle you see with science news and then science communicator follow-up is you'll see a company who's doing some science stuff, or maybe even a science outlet who will do a big press release, a big blast saying, look at this exciting thing that we're doing, and they'll either oversell it or they'll misrepresent it or something like that. And then you'll see that all over the place. And then a day or two later, maybe even the same day, but soon after, you'll get a huge blast of science communicators, like a lot of popular ones. People like Hank Green was all over this, for example.
Oh, yeah.
And they saying, like, trying to do damage control in terms of what actually is going on, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's not necessarily to tear people down or anything, but when you, I don't know, you want to properly represent what is happening. So what did they do? I'll tell you what they did. We'll talk about the facts, and then we'll talk about the details. Basically, they genetically engineered gray wolf DNA. They took gray wolf DNA and inserted dire wolf segments. First aside, did you know that a dire wolf was actually a real thing? I didn't. Until...
No, if I would have seen the story, I would have said, "Wait, wasn't that like a Dungeons and Dragons thing at first?
That's exactly
that then became part of every RPG or World of Warcraft or every other video game since." Yeah, so
I can't believe I'm saying this. I cannot believe I'm saying this. I knew they were real before all this. How do I know that? And all of my smarter friends don't know that. That I don't understand. Where was I getting this information?
There's a lot of knowledge to be
smarter friends. That's where actually the surprise is, that you think that your friends are smarter.
Sure, exactly. I knew that they were there around before. Whether or not they got nearly as big as Game of Thrones portrayed them as, and things like that, or whether they were great familiars. I mean, that's all pretty fictional, but I knew that the wolves themselves existed.
They were pretty big. A dire wolf was they existed about somewhere between 125,000 and 10,000 years ago. And they were about 20% larger than a gray wolf. Gray wolves are pretty big, so a 20% larger than a gray wolf is pretty big.
Yeah.
So they were pretty big. But what Colossal Biosciences did is they took gray wolf DNA and they identified, they took 14 genes from dire wolves and they inserted it into 20 loci. That's just basically locations of gene locations on the genome, and they inserted these 14 genes into 20 different locations, and made a genetically modified DNA strand. They then emptied out an egg cell from a wolf, and I think it was a wolf. I don't want to say that for sure. It's possible that it was a dog, because they used a dog surrogate to birth these pups.
You know what I love? Somebody's casually listening and they heard you say wolf egg, and they all now think that wolves come from eggs.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because they're not really listening. Yeah. They're not thinking about internal, human egg type eggs.
Right.
They're thinking oh, wait a minute, dire wolves had they just sit on the eggs?
Shell and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Bunnies come from eggs, wolves too. And
sure. This is all true. By the way,
which came first though, the bunny egg or the egg?
Right. Who knows? By the way, height-wise, just something I found here: dire wolf versus human versus wolf versus saber-tooth. These are the comparisons. The dire wolf is this middle green one. It is just about as tall as a saber-tooth, not as big or as long, but just about as tall, which means right up to this average human's waist, a little higher maybe.
Yeah.
And regular wolves are more like a dog down there. So anyway, just to answer that question.
That's very close to how they're represented on Game of Thrones, size-wise.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So they emptied out this cell, they inserted the genetically modified DNA, and then they put that into a dog surrogate, and then they birthed some animals. Back about, I think around 6 months ago, back last year, two male pups were born. They named them Romulus and Remus, which is a reference to the mythological origin of the city of Rome. If you know, Romulus and Remus were brothers.
Right.
That were raised by dire wolves, according to the mythology. And then they had one female pup that was born 3 months ago and named it Khaleesi, which is an obvious reference to Game of Thrones or the Song of Ice and Fire, which annoyed me a little bit.
I don't like it.
She doesn't have anything to do with
she was not exactly. Yeah. Why not one of the Starks who actually had dire wolves?
Yeah. Why not call it? I guess Jon Snow is boring, but Bran would get it. Bran's good. Why not?
Well, it was a female pup, but you've got female Starks, plenty of them.
Arya. Call it Arya. It's easy. Not a problem. No problem at all. In fact, what was the mom's name? I liked her. Caitlin Star.
Caitlin, yeah.
Caitlin the wolf. Well, you give it to the dragon. You're not hatching dragons from your eggs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Horse shit. Anyway.
So, a little bit about direwolves. I said they were born, but the direwolf actual species lived around 125 to 10,000 years ago. It went extinct about 10,000 or 11,500 years ago in what was called the Quaternary extinction. It was the same extinction that killed off, you mentioned the saber-toothed tiger, killed off a bunch of large mammals, like we'll call it megafauna. They died around this time. The saber-toothed tiger, the woolly mammoth, which is also something that Colossal Bioscience is trying to bring back, and then the dire wolf. And so, yeah, they brought it back. The question everybody's asking is, did they de-extinct anything? Is this true? What they're claiming that they did, is it true? And I think it's complicated. The conversation is complicated because what does it mean to de-extinct something? What does it mean for something to go extinct at all? What does it mean to be a species even?
And if you bring something like this back, does it fully qualify as what you're saying it is? Like, is it really a dire wolf, or is it just a gray wolf plus deluxe, a gray wolf deluxe?
I actually think that's the easiest question to answer because that comes down to the numbers. You can look at it genetically.
Like percentage match, DNA percentage match or something. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So the gray wolf and the dire wolf. So again, to clarify, what they did was they took modern gray wolf DNA and they inserted into some spots in that DNA, or they replaced dire wolf DNA for certain parts of the gray wolf DNA. Gray wolves and dire wolves share about 99.5% of their DNA, which sounds like a lot, and it is. But to put it into perspective, we share somewhere between like 98 and 99% of our DNA with chimpanzees.
Yeah, chimps and us are real close, right?
Yeah. So, and we're clearly very different.
Yeah, that's what that few percentages makes a massive difference, apparently.
Yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because just these 20 different genetic swaps did not bring, even though they're 99.5% different only, it certainly did not make these pups genetically identical to dire wolves. All right.
Sure.
So they're not.
Sure.
They're not genetically identical to dire wolves. But does that matter? I don't know. You could, I think it's easy to say that they're at the very least hybrids of dire wolves and gray wolves, right?
I wish they were hybrids of apes and dire wolves. That'd be cool, like this thing.
Oh gosh,
dire apes.
Dire apes. Yeah, I'd be into that.
Well, they would definitely look something werewolf-like, wouldn't they?
Sure.
Right. Let's cover the planet with a bunch of those. I think we'll all be fine.
Oh yeah, it'd be no problem. Playing God in that way, it's fine. We'll
be great. Yeah, we'll totally survive the uprising of dire apes.
Yeah.
So that's one of the that's one way you can define a species is that it's genetically different enough to be a species, but that's not really an adequate, I don't think, a complete definition of a species because there are some things that are very close together genetically that you would call different species. There are certain bears that are different species, polar bears and black bears, but they're probably pretty close.
Yeah.
Or polar bears and grizzly bears or brown bears, all these different bears. And one of the reasons that we call these different bears different species is because they are geographically so far apart that they don't make offspring, because that's another definition of species, is that you have two animals or things that are not able to reproduce. Either they don't reproduce, they can't reproduce, or if they do reproduce, they don't make viable offspring. Right. That's another way to define species.
And in this case, geographically speaking, never the twain shall meet. You're not going to have like a polar bear wander down to the Rocky Mountains and have sex with a freaking, grizzly bear. Anyway, those two are never going to see each other, right? Because
I don't know how far the range is, but my understanding is no, that you wouldn't. Like, why would
a spotted bear be cool though? Like a dark bear, but with like big white, like spots,
like awesome. Dalmatian spots or Holstein cow kind of spots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a bear I could get behind. He'd kill me still.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Just to get in front of it.
No.
Behind it's fine.
always be behind, never in front. Anyway, sorry, Bobby. That was a
No, that's all right. Another way, so genetically, if you look at the genes of these different types of species, they sometimes are very, very different. Sometimes they're kind of different. But there's other ways you can look at and think about a species. One of them is morphologically. Morphology is the way the physical way an animal is built.
Mm-hmm.
You know, does its skeleton look very different? Does it have a tail? Does it not have a tail? What does its body look like? So animals that are morphologically different, you might think are different species, but that's not an adequate way to look at species either, because yes, you can look at a bear and, an anteater and you can say they're very different. They're clearly different species. Yeah. But look at a Chihuahua and a pit bull, or just even in dogs, there are very very large morphological differences in dogs, and those dogs are not different species of dogs. They're all part of the same species.
Mm-hmm.
They're just different. I don't even know if they qualify as subspecies. I'm not really good at taxonomy.
I mean, they call it breeds, but breeds is kind of a loose term, right? It doesn't have much.
Yeah. We call them breeds, but that's more of a human
order, the phylum, the whole taxonomy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you had we got this Weimaraner in the house, and we have a tiny little Italian Greyhound mixed with a Min Pin. If those two, they're both girls, but let's just say one was capable of carrying the other's offspring. Probably not going to be viable puppies. Maybe. But there are, take a Chihuahua and a Pit Bull. You don't see a lot of Chihuahua Pit Bull crossover, do you? It's not very common. And I'm not sure why that would be, other than maybe that's the level of incompatibility you're talking about.
No, I think they probably would be compatible in terms of being able to make offspring, even viable offspring, because they're incredibly close genetically. They're the same species, right?
Okay.
The reason you don't see them is because why do we breed dogs the way that we breed them is because we're looking for desirable traits. So if they don't share traits that we want to mix for our own vanity reasons,
pets, right? Exactly.
Then we're not going to breed them. But I don't think that there's any problem with a Chihuahua and a Weimaraner, except for
logistics.
They might need some help.
Right, exactly. The actual act might
leave a few things to be desired if you're the dog on the receiving end. But no, that makes sense. I guess. So then this would be more like ape dog, like a chimp had relations with a Weimaraner, and now you got a apo-rhiner. Right.
Yeah.
Or Weima monkey.
You're trying to come up with an example of two animals that breed and make a non-viable offspring, and there's a mule is
there we go.
The example. A horse and a donkey breed, and they make a mule, which is not viable. So horses and donkeys are different species.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah. Mules can't reproduce, right? You can't you can't mate two mules and get another mule. You still have to go.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this. I thought mules.
Oh, I guess we are the smarter friends, Bobby. Look at that.
But we figured it out. You're right.
If you got re-promoted.
If you have a mule, well, hold on. Let me understand this. So a mule, when somebody says, I'm going, across the valley with a mule and a cart or whatever, that mule's not going to have babies or,
cannot reproduce.
I didn't freaking know that. What are the poor damn things? What are we doing there?
I think the reason
that means it can have all the sex at once and not have to worry about getting preggers.
Yeah. Damn. I think the reason that they were bred together by people is because I don't know what traits, but there are some traits in a horse and some traits in a donkey that they wanted to
like the strength,
to combine to make them a really good pack animal.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Wild. I didn't know that about mules. I'll remember that next time. So drug mules,
way.
You don't have to be asexual or have no reproductive organs if you're a drug mule, right? That's just a person with a bag up their butt.
Right.
Right. That's just Clint Eastwood.
All right. Just making sure I got that right. Wait. I haven't seen the mule, but he doesn't put a bag of drugs up his butt.
No, I don't think he does. But he is the titular mule, as far as I know. I haven't seen the movie either, but as far as I understand,
yeah.
Go ahead, make my day. I lost count. Did you put 4 up there or 5?
That's amazing.
You're feeling lucky.
Yeah.
That's great. Exactly.
Anyway, sorry.
So that's the and the reason that they don't create genetic viable offspring typically has to do with for genetic reasons. So that sort of touches on the genetic difference between a species but there's also like behavior. You can define a different species behaviorally. How does it behave differently than different animals? And then another one, and this definition of a species is important for the discussion that colossal biosciences is causing, is another way to define a species is, does it fill an ecological niche somewhere in the world? Like, does it, if you remove it from an environment, from an ecosystem, what purpose did it serve? And was it the thing that was serving a purpose in the environment? And is it going to cause changes in that ecosystem by removing it?
Most of the
usually
time, right?
The answer is yes.
Yeah, most of the time
usually
I would say
the
that's
answer is
true.
yes.
Yeah. When do we, but we're also humans have been historically, maybe we're better at it now, but historically we're pretty bad at knowing when that's a problem or isn't, or when, not even just removing things, but introducing things to ecosystems. And then everything.
I think usually it's not that we're bad at knowing, it's that we just don't ever think about it, right? Like we just do it before we think about it.
Yeah.
Or that we didn't know at all. Like we know now, but back when, we were introducing, animals to different islands or something like that to either farm or solve some kind of problem, we just didn't know that enough about ecosystems and how they work to be able to predict that was going to be a problem. But sometimes you're right. That's happened before where one animal was brought in and caused a problem. So then we brought in another animal to solve that problem, which that new animal causes another problem, and it's challenging.
Yeah. Before you know it,
solve those issues.
You got like one dead, usually you see this happen a lot with trees and plants too, right? They bring a thing that's not indigenous, they plant it, and they're like, oh shit, that strangles the roots of the thing next to it. Well, what's bringing these bugs? Because we know those eat them. Turns out those eat corn. Yeah. It's like, we're so dumb with that stuff sometimes.
The human equivalent of the woman who swallowed a fly.
Yeah.
Basically. We just keep adding things to it until,
humanity is or I guess the animal kingdom is or the ecosystem is the lady.
Right. Yes.
I hope she'll die, or I guess she'll die, or however it goes. I don't hope she'll die, but maybe she'll die.
The reason that
perhaps she'll die. There you go.
Yes.
The reason that the ecological question is I think the most interesting part of the conversation to have in terms of what's going on with colossal biosciences is because that's what they're claiming that they're trying to do. I know that they make a lot of flashy announcements and everything saying, we're going to bring back the woolly mammoth. We brought back the dire wolf and all this kind of stuff. But what they're claiming that they want to do and what they're claiming that the technology that they're working on, because there was a lot of really amazing science that went into making these animals, whether you call them a dire wolf or not.
Right.
What they did, there's a lot of really cool science that went into it.
But this gets you notice, this gets you investment, this gets you grants, this gets you people paying attention because you're claiming maybe slightly incorrectly that you've brought back the dire wolf, but the subtext is, well, not really, but here's what we did and it was amazing and please give us your grant money, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely. I don't think anybody, like, it's no secret why they're selling it the way that they're selling it, right? Because they're going to get more attention, more publicity, more money, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But what they're claiming that they're trying to do is that their pitch is this: hey, we humans are on the world and we're causing things to go extinct, or we're threatening extinction of a lot of animals. And when those things go extinct, when humans historically have caused things to go extinct, it leaves a niche that is no longer filled, and it changes that ecosystem. What we want to do, this is them saying this, what we want to do is create a technology that allows us to create an animal that has the proper characteristics. What if we could create, maybe it's not the exact animal anymore, but maybe it's something that has the right characteristics that the animal that went extinct had, that allows it to fill that niche in the same way that extinct animal did, and it can save the collapse of that. Like, it can rescue that ecosystem and prevent it from collapsing.
Oh, I got
What
you.
if we could do that?
Yeah.
That's what they're claiming to be able to do. Now, that's the starting point, I think, for these big, large conversations that need to be had. That none of us here, I'm sure, except for maybe Scott, who's smarter than the rest of us.
Just on dire wolves. Just on dire wolves. All the rest of it, freaking forget it. You got any mule questions? I got no answers on the mules.
Right. So
Do mules have brains? Because
and that's what we need to figure out is this the right way to go about it? Or is this just a vanity project, or are we like
is it real advances in science? Is it really?
Yeah. And again, a lot of the technology that's going into this is real stuff that we're learning and very interesting in its own right. But they're talking about a biodiversity crisis, which is definitely happening. Things are going extinct. I'm sure you've heard before the talk that we're living through the next big mass extinction, and that it's human caused, right?
I didn't know that, but great. Terrific.
Sorry, I didn't mean to add to your pile of existential dread.
I know, exactly. The good news is there's no more room. No more room to add to my existential dread. It's that that thermos is full. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a biodiversity crisis that we're dealing with right now, and they're saying we can develop a technology that'll solve this. I don't know the answer to that question. My gut tells me that this is not the right way to handle a biodiversity crisis. Instead, the right way to handle it is to stop causing things to go extinct.
Yeah, that'd be good. Maybe we do that. Yeah.
But maybe what they're doing creates, like we can hope and pray all we want that will stop making things go extinct, but maybe they're betting on perhaps a more realistic outcome that we're not going to stop making things go extinct, and they want to come up with some way to at least help. Maybe their solution is not a single solution. They're just creating a tool that will be able to be used 50 or 100 years down the line when we're going to have to start figuring out how to do this. If I had to guess, or if I were to try to be as generous and optimistic as possible about what they're doing, because I think there are plenty of people out there talking about why what they're doing is not great. And I agree with a lot of the people that are saying that. But if I'm to be as optimistic and generous as possible, I would say that they're going to make it so that any new species that go extinct, we will have tools for how to minimize and mitigate the impact that has on the ecosystem in which that animal lived.
Sure.
And that what they're doing to help. I don't think what they're currently publicizing and telling everyone that they're doing is probably what's actually a good, useful use of this technology, which is bringing back the thylacine, which is the thylacine is just a sort of a weird tiger animal out in Australia that went extinct. Okay. Or the dodo. They're talking about bringing back the dodo.
Everybody loves the dodo. Why not the dodo? We don't.
But they're talking about doing that. But again, my thought is these animals, the woolly mammoth especially, and the dire wolf especially, the ecosystems they were a part of have already changed. They're not the same ecosystem anymore. Right. Bringing it back, these dire wolves that were made, they're not gonna, no one's gonna, or they shouldn't let them put them out into the wild because
they're gonna eat the things that maybe the existing wolves rely on,
or they die because this doesn't necessarily make a dominant species of wolf. It could just mean they go out there and don't know what they have to do in an environment they didn't live in.
Yeah.
Should we find out maybe the dire wolves eat woolly mice, and then we kind of create the solution to the problem that we create?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why they call themselves colossal. They got colossal F up if they.
That's right.
What were those? On Star Trek, the
tribbles.
The tribbles, that's what the woolly mice remind me of. So
there
they could
go,
be a solution to the tribbles problem.
We know how that went. Real quick, Rufus T. Cat in the chat says, "I want my Liger." Napoleon Dynamite knew it was possible. That literally happened, and that reference in that movie is the Liger that was at the Hogle Zoo, our local zoo. And when I was a kid, I saw this thing. It was a living, breathing beast. It's now stuffed and still there. You can go see it. When it died, they taxidermied it, and now it's still there, and there's a whole thing about it. But it was this rare time where a tiger and a lion got it on and created a hybrid, which is extremely rare. They don't really mix. Obviously it doesn't have a big application here where we're talking about entire ecosystems and, the ongoing of certain species or whatever. But I saw a Liger and it was weird as shit.
Yeah, that's actually an example like the mule of two species that are able to breed, but they make non-viable offspring.
Right. As far as I know, that
the Liger is not viable.
Right.
To make offspring.
And it had no other Ligers to cuddle with. It was,
but the point is, even if you made another one,
right? They couldn't
interbreed.
Now, if you got a Liger and a mule together, though,
the possibilities are endless.
The Muleger,
a Muger,
yeah, the Muleger. Well, this is fascinating stuff, and also some good clarity on the story that's been floating around.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of been all over the place on this thing, but interesting stuff nonetheless. My guess is we'll probably talk about these guys in the future. It seems like they definitely want to be in the...
You just can't get away from colossal biosciences. They're all over. They keep popping up over and over again, doing interesting things or troubling things. Depends on how you look at it.
Just the name just feels like a science fiction horror movie company. Like it just.
Or they should be the bad guys in a video game.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
A subsidiary of Umbrella Corporation.
Academy. Yeah. Umbrella Corporation, right. Umbrella Academy is a whole different thing.
Very different thing. One other thing I was going to say about this was what, Bobby? It was a thing I was going to say. I can't remember. One more tiger thing. I can't remember. So instead of saying that, I will say you have a podcast called All Around Science, and it covers this stuff and way more all the time with your co-host, Maura. We're going to get to finally... I can't wait to meet Maura in Vegas.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's exciting.
Maura is a fantastic person. You'll love meeting her. She's great.
I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, tell us more about the show, where it can be found, all that fun stuff.
Yep. Our podcast is called All Around Science, and we just talk about science stuff that we're interested in talking about. It's sort of whatever. We always try to cover something from the news, and then you sometimes more than one thing, but something from the news and something that we're just really interested in. We just talked about in this episode that just came out today, we were talking about open label placebos and whether or not there was a piece of research that came out that some researchers were trying to test open label placebos and whether or not they're an effective treatment. And I had some things to say about that. You know what an open label placebo is?
No, I was just going to ask you, what's that mean? Open label.
It's where you give a placebo, which a placebo is just nothing, right? It has
sugar
no
pill,
active ingredients.
Whatever, sure, yeah.
So it's fake. But an open label placebo is when you give someone a placebo and you tell them that it's a placebo.
Oh, well then it's not a placebo anymore.
Yeah, how does it?
Well, that's sort of hints at what my thought is. I have some problems with this research.
Hear about that.
Yeah, I have some problems with the research and what was happening, but we talk all about that on this episode that just came out today. So check it out, All Around Science.
Go check it out, you guys. That's good stuff. I want to hear that one because I need to know more about. That seems insane to me. Well, it's a placebo. It's only a placebo until people know it isn't, and then it isn't a placebo anymore. Weird.
Exactly.
That's right.
Blind taste test, but go ahead and take your blinds off and see which one you like better.
Yeah, there you go. Bobby, have a fantastic time. We're going to have one more of these right before Vegas.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no, we won't. Right.
You're right.
One more Yeah, Steven Schleicher next week, and then Vegas.
Oh yeah, then
on the Monday I would have been on. Instead of watching me on YouTube, you can watch me in person if you're in Vegas.
Yeah. You'll be in the Canyon Room or whatever it's called.
Yes. Canyonero Room. Bobby, have a fantastic time. I can't wait to see you. Stay safe, and your wife's coming again this year, right? Is your wife coming?
Yes, very excited.
We
about
love
that
Stephanie.
well, yeah.
She is great.
She's the best.
Too many Stephanies though. We got like 4 Stephanies now. What are we gonna do?
know. That's why we have
Stephanie, we need
name
to.
tags.
Yeah, one of them just go, who hates mobile games? And then she'll put her hand up and then go, okay, that's not the Stephanie we're looking for. All right, see you later. All right, we did it with Bobby. That means it's time for us to do it with the final moments of the show. And a couple things. Monday show today at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. It's new time every Monday at 1. And Play Retro at 4 with Brian Dunaway and myself, as we mentioned earlier. So if you're looking forward to those, all that's up at the schedule, frogpants.com/schedule. And we'd love to have you live. If not, all the podcasts are there. So get them how you want it. One note. This isn't done yet. So it will be, you know what, maybe by tomorrow I can give them a link. But I'm going to give... TMS deserves its own YouTube home in terms of like...
Oh, I've been hearing you doing this with a few of your shows, yeah.
Yeah, Core's up now, and that way we're just getting started with all of it. But Core, Play Retro are going to get their own YouTube channels. There's a whole bunch of reasons. I won't get into them here, but TMS deserves its own thing. So that will be happening soon. I should have a link tomorrow. In fact, I think it's already set up. It just isn't public. And then we'll need about 1,000 subs over there just to get it so we have all the features we want to post longer form and all that. Cool. So more on that soon, probably in the next day or so. We'll have more.
Maybe would I be able to post stuff then?
100%. 100%.
Awesome.
That's the whole idea.
Brian,
I want to make it. We'll have editors.
Fast food restaurant and,
we'll have editors, which means you get editor status. We can give it to some of our guests if they want. Like if Bobby's got some cool science thing he wants to post up there, he totally can. Just want to make it a little bit more of a. You know, if you come to us for the podcast, it's all, nothing changes. It's all good. Everything's the same as it always is. But this will just be a better sort of home for video stuff and content. So watch for that. All right, that's going to do it for today. Brian, you got anything else before we go?
I got nothing else. Obviously, TMS Vegas Prep has taken over my ability to spend any time developing the Red on Air light. My goal still is to have at least a mock-up or a first one done before TMS Vegas. So hopefully another live stream where I refine this object even further. And it just looks like the best way to do it is as 2 pieces.
Sure.
And not as trying to do it all as one. So we want to make the best Red on Air light possible for you, the Red on Air listener.
Yes, the Red on Air listener. We're thinking of you first.
We're thinking of you first. Exactly.
Claire said, are they splitting up the Discord? No, it's all staying there. So this YouTube thing has nothing to do with that. That's my whole point, is nothing really changes for most of you, including live stuff. We do live stuff the way we do it. But where the content sits, where we might put up extras, junk like that, we're giving it its own focus. So no stress. Don't change your lifestyle around us. We're all good. All right,
we're good.
Brian's play a song. Let's play a song.
Yes. Michael from Edmonton wrote in. I'm so gonna miss Michael. Free Monster. They're
the best, man. I'm super bummed.
And the two of them every time the two of them walked into the room, just smiles and having a great time, and
just lit right up.
Amanda and Michael, and they brought me some fantastic vodka or a gin, which we just finished up. That's gin you don't mix with stuff. That is gin you kind of just drink straight. The Ahsoka gin. Anyway. Michael wrote in and said, "Hey Scott, Brian, and the whole TMS community. Michael from Edmonton here, sometimes Free Monster in the chat. April 14th, today, is my 41st rotation around the sun. Look at you, little youngster. Just like wine.
You're just like a little kid still, man. You're little.
Totally is, yeah. Just like wine, scotch, and I guess cheese. I get better with age. Since you have hooked me into the show Paradise, I was hoping to request We Built This City by Aaron Wright and Jill Andrews for a song. This was the version I think that they played, if I remember correctly, in on the show as the ending song cover for an episode. If not, let's see, the cover master feels to be perfect in the background, D&D Tavern. Thank you for all the years of fun, joy, and laughs. Amanda and I will miss you all in Vegas this year. Cheers, Free Monster. Well, Yeah, you're not going to miss us nearly as much as we're going to miss you. So, sorry, and hopefully 2026 will be the year that we get to see you again. And until then, maybe we'll move to Edmonton. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, let's play this right here. Released all the way back in 2014, but again, I think was used as the cover for that episode Paradise. Here are Aaron Wright and Jill Andrews and a very mellow version of We Built This City.
Hello, I'm a tailor, and your pant size is frog. You're always welcome at frogpants.com.
And I'm addicted to coffee enemas.